The biggest secret to becoming attractive to a high quality partner is to display confidence. But most people don't know that there are two kinds of confidence. Most people focus on the wrong one, which actually does more harm than good. If you want to be seen as a conscious, high quality partner, then you must know which kind of confidence to work on in yourself. In this video, I'm going to share with you how you can begin developing authentic confidence that makes others feel drawn to you, feel like they can trust you, and want to spend more time around you. Hi, my name is Jason, and I have spent 27 years as a social confidence coach, and I've seen the patterns of what works and what doesn't for most people. I've tried all kinds of techniques to raise my own confidence up, but most of them did not work, and I'll explain why in just a minute. So here's a quick story. Years ago, I took a class at a local adult education center about dating. The class started out okay, but this guy walks in the room and he loudly interrupts the teacher and he says, "Okay, everyone, I'm here." And he has like a really awkward smile. And what's funny is that's the only moment I remember from that whole class. But what it showed me though is that there's at least two ways of expressing confidence, because he was trying to look confident, right? One way says, "Hey, look at me." And then the other says, "Hey, look at you." The first kind of person is only concerned with lifting themselves up and making you interested in them. The second kind focuses on lifting you up and being interested in you. And by the way, here's what happened with the guy who came late to class. So after class, he was trying so hard to get a date with the teacher, and then he informed the other students that he was actually looking for a mistress to cheat on his wife with. So it just goes to show you how you do anything is a sign of how you do everything in life. Now, here's how I started developing confidence in myself. For the first 20 years of my life, my confidence was at rock bottom due to my own emotional wounding from my family. And because I have what is commonly known as Asperger's syndrome, which is a kind of autism that makes it hard to read social cues and interact with people socially. And I didn't find this out until my early 40s. So I'm 49 now. But I am the kind of person who does not give up. And I believed that it was possible for me to have a good life, including a good social life and good romantic life. So I studied everyone from personal growth gurus like Tony Robbins, all the way to pickup artists and dating gurus. And it started to work, kind of. All right, I started having a lot of success socially, but it was short-lived, because all the confidence building techniques and mindset tricks that I was using were focused on changing how others saw me and how they treated me. And that's okay. I think it's important to advocate for yourself, of course, and to have standards about what you'll allow in your life. But the mistake I made was that I was so focused on lifting myself up that I forgot about other people, and they felt it. Whatever social success I had, all the friends that I had coming to my parties and everything, it was kind of like filling a leaky bucket with water. And my friends and my girlfriends did not stick around, and I was always starting over. Now things are different. I have people that I am proud to call my friends, people I respect, people who do their own inner work and who are genuinely up to something cool in their lives. And what I'd like to do in this video is share some of the most important lessons that have helped me integrate my own wounding and create a life that is valuable to me and to others, where I feel like I'm confident, and I'm that second kind of confidence that can focus on others rather than myself. So let's dive in. I actually want to share a quick story with you about how I learned one of the big secrets to how I think about confidence now, and it's very different than what I used to do. Years ago, I was at a spiritual gathering, and I was learning from this teacher, and I shared with him what it is that I do for a living, teaching social confidence and whatnot. And he said, until you get to the place where you can feel your value when you're with other people, then you have to resort to being a trickster. I was like, "What do you mean, trickster? What's a trickster?" And he said, "A trickster is somebody who uses techniques and tactics to fool other people into believing that you have more value than you know you do." And that was like a kick to the chest, because I was so focused on using techniques and strategies and memorizing cool stories to tell, a lot of the stuff they teach to pickup artists. And I thought that it worked because I got attention using it, but in reality, it didn't. And it did in terms of keeping people in my life. And this description of the trickster perfectly describes pretty much all of the pickup artist friends I used to have, as well as most of the dating coaches that I knew back in the day. I actually used to help organize big mastermind gatherings for the dating industry. And at one point we had like the top 30 dating teachers in the world at our house in Los Angeles, and we were sharing business secrets and trying to help each other be more successful. So believe me, I knew what the teachers were really like and what they were really struggling with. And most of them are not as confident or successful in dating as they would lead you to believe. They are struggling just as much as you, if not more. And that brings me to my second point, which is that people who start seriously studying dating techniques, confidence building, pickup artist strategies and tactics, that kind of stuff, they're often trying to work through their own wounding around being unwanted, not being good enough, fear of rejection, abandonment wounding, and so on. So let's say you have an abandonment wound that is causing you to struggle with your self-esteem. And that wound causes you to have a hard time with relationships and social interactions. And then you learn some tactics in order to convince someone to make out with you or go to bed with you or be in a short-term relationship with you, or even just to be friends with you when they normally wouldn't have. Somebody who is outside of the normal kind of person you would normally attract, right? Let's say you start learning techniques to pull that off. Here's what happens. The moment you let your guard down and you stop performing, and then you get rejected for being who you actually are, that stimulates the wound and it cuts even deeper. And here's why. It reinforces the idea that you're not enough just as you are. Well, so then what? Well, if you're a pickup artist, you end up resorting to more performing, more memorizing stories that make you look cool, using more outlandish social skills tricks, and you might be able to hang on to people for a little longer, but it's exhausting. It's exhausting. This is why people say just be yourself. And I know that advice is irritating because it's like that advice is great for people who don't need the advice. They're already cool. So I get it. You have to go through a period where you're doing things that are a little unnatural in order to expand and grow into a more confident version of yourself. But you don't want to rely on those masks to be like a shield against rejection. It's actually much better to lean into the rejection and to find people who accept you as you actually are. That goes much farther toward boosting your confidence, boosting your self-esteem. And finally, I want to share one more story with you. I grew up in New Jersey, which was kind of rough. It felt a little bit like a jungle there. You know, the tough, scary, big guys in school were the ones who were respected and popular, and I learned that pretty quickly. Nobody picked on them, but they did pick on me, the skinny, awkward kid with Asperger's syndrome. And so I figured I would try to at least look like the guys who were big and bulky and kind of scary. The ones who walked around with their arms puffed out because they had the big lat muscles here. So I started walking around with my arms out, but I didn't realize at the time I looked ridiculous because I was so skinny. I only weighed like 120 pounds. So trying to act bigger, tougher, stronger, or cooler than you actually are does not work. It doesn't work in the long term. It barely works in the short term. Trying to act more confident than you actually feel on the inside also doesn't work. Anyone with any level of sensitivity and ability to read people will see right through it. So I don't believe in faking it until you make it, but there are other ways to grow your confidence and to get pretty quick results. In fact, when I'm spending time with people, the moment someone puffs out their chest and tries to act confident to make an impression on us, I immediately know that they don't actually feel that way. Because if they felt confident, then they wouldn't need to manage everyone else's impression of them. Being confident is not about compelling others to treat you in a certain way or being looked up to by other people. It's about learning to feel good about who you authentically are without hiding and without making apologies for taking up space in the world. When you can do that, your own felt sense of value will overflow from you and lift up everyone around you. Now, I have good news and bad news. I'll give you the bad news first. There are no shortcuts to this. But that's also the good news, because a lot of people won't do it. There's no life hacks that's going to speed up your inner work. You have to actually do the inner work. And then your outer world will start to reflect the new you on the inside. But even though there are no shortcuts or hacks or anything like this, there is a path you can take where one step at a time, you gradually raise your internal set point for how you feel about yourself. And what that leads to is you attracting much higher quality people into your life, higher quality people to date, higher quality friends. You'll be treated better at work. You'll be recognized for promotion opportunities. So much happens when you raise your internal confidence set point. It really is amazing. And I've lived it. I've started at the very, very bottom, and I worked my way up, and I saw what worked and what didn't. And if that is something that you would like help with for yourself, I know I can make a difference for you. So you can reach out to me on social media. I'm pretty easy to find. Well, okay, lastly, thanks for watching. This is my first video. And if you got value from this, I would encourage you to please hit the like button and subscribe. That'll help more people see this video. And if you're interested in deep, genuine confidence that attracts conscious, high quality people into your life, then I would love to work with you. So you'll find a link in the description to some of my upcoming classes, coaching, and other offerings, or you can find me on social media. All right, thanks for watching. Take care.